Welcome back, Barfly 2 here. We're just going to go back over some of the old how-to videos that we maybe did at the very start, even before the core set was fully released. And I just thought I'd go back over them now that we've had the additional rules and the FAQs, which have now dropped, and just clarify some of the points and make a clearer video now that we've done it for a little bit longer. So I've chosen to go back and do the first video I ever did, which was movement and the movement tool, which was a really bad sound quality in the original video. So here we have the components you need to basically do movement in the game. You need your ships, you need your movement tool, and you need your rulers. We also need, most importantly, the ship cards, which tell you how much movement you get. So as is laid out in the Learn to Play guide, we first go to engage warp. It's the first action we're given in the rules on how to use. So you choose the warp factor, which is dictated from your ship card, place your ruler, place your tracking marker, and so you can actually move your step backwards, advance the unit, resolve any crossing effects as you go over anything, place your unit, and check for any collisions at your final movement. Then you check ranges in case you're affected by anything when you land. So when choosing the warp factor and the distance you want to move at warp, it's dictated by your maximum warp factor, which is one of the 3 values in the middle of your ship board. But it's also dictated by your actual movement value on your alert dial, because you actually have to pay extra reserve power if your value is lower than your warp value. So in this example here, it's a warp value of movement value of 8, and the warp value was 9, so we had to pay 1 extra. At yellow alert 2 on this example here, the movement value is 4, but the warp value was 9. And if you did want to move your 18 inches for your 9 warp value, you would have to pay 5 extra in order to do that. It's like a little tax on movement for going at warp if you've moved your alert value, and it's something that's quite often overlooked. So after you've picked your warp value, use your ruler, move up to the middle of your base there, and you're measuring your movement from the middle of the base. Just move up to whatever your warp factor is. Always in a straight line. If you come across a hazard, you would just stop your ship just as you get to the hazard, resolve the hazard if you're going at warp, and then finish your move as you pass through it. And if you come up against an opposing ship or another ship, if you can't complete your move, if your bases overlap, you would then just finish your move and then move back until your bases are no longer overlapping. Engaging impulse, we're using a lot of the same values. It'll just be the red movement value on the red dial, but you're also looking at the turn number that's on that as well. It follows a very similar process, but you'll be adjusting headings as well. So you place your turning tool, you've got the option to adjust your heading, place your ruler, advance the turning tool, place the tracking marker, advance your unit, check for collisions again, remove the ruler. You've got your optional adjustment if you've not adjusted it already, check for collisions, and then check for ranges for anything that affects your ship. This first example here just shows you the movement tool in action and some options based on the amount of turn you've got in your movement level, and how to put a ruler in and how you would advance it. As you see, this example is just a straight ahead manoeuvre. This example here will now show you some turning. you can actually put the turning tool on either side of the ship depending on which direction that you're going. And for a forward manoeuvre, the arm of your movement tool is always heading back the way. So that was adjusting your heading at the start of your manoeuvre. This one is how to adjust your heading at the end of a manoeuvre. So you would just do a straight manoeuvre effectively, move your turning tool up, advance your ship, and then you will move your ship round with the amount of movement notches you've got. And then just another example, if you overlap bases on another ship when you come across, when you're doing your move. And it's just advance the ship and then move it backwards within your movement level until you're no longer touching. The third and final basic manoeuvre is coming about. And a coming about is just simply an impulse manoeuvre that allows you to spin on the spot to face any new heading. Again, you'll just rotate the unit, check for any collisions, because that can happen when you're on the spot, and then check ranges for anything that may affect you. So the additional rules book brought advanced moves, and the important thing to think about with these are that you treat your printed impulse and turn values as half the level rounded up in order to complete the maneuvers. So in this one we've got a 10 and a 3 printed on the Defiant, so that would be a distance of 5 you could move and a turn of 2, because the 3 would go down to 1.5, which is rounded up to 2. So lateral impulse manoeuvres allow your ship to move sideways. These are resolved following the same forward impulse procedures described earlier, but you're going to put the movement tool in the front or the rear of the ship. Once again, you'll be using your engine power and impulse turn values as half the values shown on your ship card. So as you see, this is starting to bring in nice sideways moves that will give you a lot of position variance that you can do when looking for objectives or trying to move around other ships. Your reverse impulse manoeuvre does the same thing as your forward impulse manoeuvre, but you're going to put your manoeuvre tool towards the back of the ship instead of going in front of your ship, and it allows your ship to go backwards in effect, but you've got your movement radius to turn to the sides. So here we see the Defiant, it's just going to do a reverse mover, doing the same. The actual ruler is going to be fitted towards the rear of the ship instead of going forwards there, and you'll just progress your ship backwards. So this footage here just really shows you some of the options you've got with movement from a ship that's fairly static in the centre of this example. Just shows there is so much variety of where you can place your ship, just because of the way the game's designed. As a list in the summary that's just coming up, movement is really, really important in the game, and you've actually got 3 options in a lot of cases in order to place your ships, because you've got an officer usually in your captain's chair. You can have an officer also in your helm position, and you've got your standby action. So that gives you 3 opportunities to use various different movement types in order to position just within 1 round. Should clarify, you can choose to have officers at these positions on the ship. You don't have to, which would obviously limit some of your movement. So this is just a little summary of some of the things that have come out of the FAQs and from some questions that were on the Discord. And this was, you can move over objective markers. Nothing to stop you doing that. And you can finish moves over objective markers. If you finish a move with a base over a system boundary, you get to declare whether you're inside or outside that system boundary. That about wraps that up for movement. Thanks for watching.